Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and I make art videos. This week's video, I received a special package from the company Artistro. I know Artistro from their acrylic paint pens that are widely sold on Amazon, and they kindly reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review their new watercolor palette. They said that they recently introduced this to their line of products. Of course I said yes, as I'm sure you guys would be interested in checking it out as well. So they have this packaged very well, and it looks like they also included a canvas tote bag with their company name on it, which I love. This is not expected, so I really appreciate the free product. I love canvas bags, so I will definitely be using this. And here is the watercolor paint set. It is 48 colors, and it contains a water brush, pencil, sponge brush, watercolor paper, and an eraser. It does say premium quality on this, but we have to remember this is a company that does not make artist grade materials, so take that with a grain of salt. Here is the outside packaging, and on the back we have the list of the 48 colors and what the set also includes, which I already mentioned, along with their social media. So let's open this up and take a look at everything inside. So it looks like they included 10 sheets of 140-pound watercolor paper. It does not mention anything about being cotton, so I'm assuming this is cellulose paper. So let's open this up. And it is just individual sheets. So it looks like they did a great job with their packaging. I love the color of this tin. The tin feels very sturdy and well made. If you look on the back here, it does also have the same list of all the colors as that was on the back of the box. And then it has a little clasp here to keep it closed. So here it is opening it up. Inside along the top, this would be the water brush. It looks like they also included an HB drawing pencil, and it is triangular, which is perfect for not having it roll away on you. They did include a watercolor brush. It does not have a size listed on it. They also included a white rubber eraser, which these are my favorite kinds of eraser because it does the least damage to your watercolor paper. They're very soft and gentle. There is a metal sharpener. I'm glad they included a metal one and not a plastic one. That should be more durable. And then they have a sponge here, which is probably going to be used to wipe off your brush on or hold some water so that it stays moist. And then down here we have a swatch card that they have pre-set up for you. It looks like they included a cute little sticker. There's also this plastic color card that they included with the paint numbers and the paint names on them, but I would definitely recommend swatching them out anyways because how the paint's going to react on the paper will be different than how the color printed on plastic. But it's nice to include this, and it also makes a nice cover when traveling with your paints. And then here are the paints themselves. So the paints look like they're slightly smaller than a half pan size, and they feel so smooth, almost like plastic, like they're fake, which is interesting because I'm curious of the quality of these. I got to be honest and say that I'm not a fan of this plastic container they are in. You're going to have to be really careful of filling up these wells with water so they don't overflow into the container next to them. It looks like they do have a nice variety of colors. We got some neon colors down here, some metallic colors, which I'll be interested in swatching them out on my black watercolor paper. And I think these are just held in with glue dots on the bottom, as they are not sliding around in the plastic wells. All right, now for the fun part, let's get swatching. So here is the completed swatch sheet. And one thing I noticed when I was swatching these colors out that I'm not sure if you caught, but when I went back in with just plain water to see how the paint flowed, a lot of these paints stayed put where they were and did not flow like I'm used to. The fluorescent colors are definitely fluorescent and look like I colored them with a highlighter. So one little thing to know is that the color names are a little off if you're used to like some artist grade paints and the names of those, so it might seem a little weird, but if that's not anything you're used to, then I'm sure you don't mind the names of the colors. That's just something very minor that I noticed. One more thing that I wanted to mention was when I was doing this swatch sheet, I definitely had to go back several times and count the pans on which one I was on because it's not in the same order, or I had to look at the name that I was on here, then check the plastic sheet to find out which one I was on in the container. It's very minor, but it just could be fixed so simply if they just got rid of their logo here and just made it exactly the same layout. That would have been a lot more helpful because there's no way to label these colors really. So down here are the 4 metallic colors: gold, bronze, copper, and silver. And I'm not sure if you can tell, they have a slight shimmer to them. I also swatched them out on my black watercolor paper by Stonehenge, and here they are, the gold, bronze, copper, and silver. And you can see they have a little bit of a sheen. However, on the other side, here are a couple of my fine techs. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but the fine techs do have a lot more shimmer to them. I wonder if I can fold it over. I don't know if this is if you can really tell, but the fine techs up here have a lot more shimmer compared to these metallic paints, but they did show up very nicely on this black watercolor paper. Now, while I was waiting for this swatch sheet to dry, I decided to paint some color wheels. And I have to be honest, going into these color wheels, I was not expecting anything. There is no pigment information listed anywhere that I could find regarding these paints, and generally with student or craft grade paints, the colors do not mix well because of so many fillers and so many different pigments are used to make up colors that when you mix them, they muddy. But for the heck of it, I did some of my color wheels. And let me show you how those turned out. Now here is the final result of those color wheels. And oh my goodness, I am so surprised how that turned out. I would have never guessed that. I think they mixed so well that I had to pull out my professional watercolors that I did in a previous video. And these are my Mission Gold watercolors. Now the wheels aren't exactly the same way. The layout, I guess, isn't exactly the same. But this is, I picked the lemon yellow, lake blue, and the cerise, I think is how it's pronounced, but it's more magenta. And look at how those two compare. And same with the bottom. I also tried to pull some warmer yellows and reds and a similar blue, and it came out so similar. These two circles are my Magello Mission Gold watercolors, which are a professional grade, and these are the Artistro watercolors. I'm honestly so amazed with how well those colors mixed. I was not expecting that at all. If you are interested in learning how to make these color wheels and color charts, I will definitely leave those videos linked above and below for you. These ones I just did quickly, so they do not have the center triangles, but it's the same concept. So far, I'm still unsure how I feel about these. The swatching process had me kind of concerned, along with the look of the paints, but then after doing this color wheel charts, I am definitely curious to see how a painting is going to go. So if you are in a space and you do have a palette, these are definitely beautiful in terms of mixing, and they do not feel chalky at all. I did want to grab my Prima marketing sets just to show you a comparison. So these come in the metal tins with the rings on the bottom, and they are also travel palettes where it flips out. The thing I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I was not a fan of this plastic palette. I much prefer this metal tray and the individual half pans that you can pull out and rearrange or replace. I'm much more of a fan of this setup. However, if you look at the paints up close, I'm not sure if you can tell, but these Prima marketing ones are very chalky and grainy looking compared to the Artistro. These are very smooth and soft, and sometimes when painting with the Prima marketings, you can get some almost graininess inside the paint. I have not seen this so far with the Artistro paints. So now I think we need to test out making a painting, because I want to see again how the paint flows with the water on a much bigger scale than on this swatch card. So here are my two finished mini pieces of art using the watercolor paper that they provided. This is simply a blended rainbow of the colors. I wanted to see how well they would blend into each other, which looks like it did very well. And the colors are very vibrant, which I love. The next one I did was somewhat of a galaxy, and this one was a little more difficult to do because, again, that paint really stays in place unless you really work it through. Like I kept doing, I had to go over it several times with the water to keep blending it. So it is a little difficult to get that flowy effect, which is what watercolor is known for. And if the paper was cut just slightly smaller, it would fit inside the case, which I think would be perfect to have an all-in-one kit. So to recap everything we have here, in the paint set, it comes with a decent water brush, pencil, and paintbrush. The paper, despite not being cotton, seems to be a decent quality cold press paper. The 48 colors are very vibrant and seem to mix well, though we do not have any pigment information and no light fastness ratings. Altogether, this makes a good gift set. If you are interested in purchasing this set, Artistro did give me a coupon code for 10% off. I will put the code on the screen, but it is Jessica Lynn. I will also put Artistro's information linked in the description below. Thank you again to Artistro for sending me this product, and thank you for you guys watching it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!